Hi guys. I just wrote this down real quick so I wouldn't forget. And I wouldn't mess up in saying it. I've tried filming this probably 15 times and I mess up every time. So, forgive me. Today is January the 7th, Saturday. And my girl Melissa of Mel B's Paper Creations here on YouTube last year put on Operation Valentines, where she collected Valentines from the crafting community to take to her local children's hospital, which was 8th in the nation. Up until recently, it was 8th in the nation, and I believe it's soon to be 5th in the nation, the largest. So I hate that so many children are sick. I can't fix them all, but I can put a smile on at least a few of them's faces. So that's what this is kind of about. Let's see if I can remember everything along the way. And I would highly recommend that you check out her channel and the video that she put out on December the 30th. That was the day it started. I knew it was coming because I was hoping that she would be able to do something like that at Christmas, and so I had made mention of it in passing, and she said that no, they already had someone doing something for the kids there at Christmas, but that she could do it again for Valentine's. And so I stopped the Christmas cards because I was making them with children in mind, in hopes that they would be able to go to her local children's hospital. I took the ones that I already made to my local children's hospital. And if you can't afford the shipping, or maybe you can't make very many, let me just say she's only asking for 6, just 6, and that'll get you an entry into one of 4 giveaways. She's doing 4 this year. Last year it was 2, this year it's 4. I will again ask her to not enter me, simply because I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it to put a smile on some children's faces who are, these kids are going through harder things in their young life than even as adults many of us would ever go through or face. A lot of these children are facing terminal illnesses. So she has a few rules, one of which is, while skull candy Valentines are cute, they still are a skull and crossbones. So there can't be any skull and crossbones, because that's not helpful. Because, think about it as an adult. When you think of a skull and crossbones, what do you think of? Take out the cute. Think of what a skull and crossbones represents. So, would you, as an adult, want your children to receive those, even lightheartedly as a Valentine, cutesy as a Valentine, if they were terminally ill? My guess is no. So, no skull and crossbones, nothing religious, because these are non-denominational. All of these families of all of these children come from all walks of life. Some may be Catholic, some may be Christian, some may be agnostic, some may be Jewish, some may be Muslim. We don't know. So because of that, leave all religious things off. I don't remember today what all of the rules are, but I'm trying. They need to be a 4.25 by 5.5 or smaller, A2 or smaller. They can be store-bought or handmade. But like, I've already decided well, first off, I've made 30. And I'm asking her to not enter me in any giveaway because that's not what it's about for me. But say I were entering the giveaway. Whether I made 6 or I made 30, I only get one entry. And it's to make it a lot easier on her. That's why she's made that rule that way. So keep that in mind. It's not for every 6 you get an entry. That's not how it is. Last year she did that for like every 2 or 3 cards, or I think it was every 3 cards. And bless her, this one person sent her something like 250 cards. Well, then she had to sit down and, because she uses random.org, she had to write that person's name, you know, however many times. 3 goes into 250, how many times? And that's just, I mean, she does work, you know, and she makes videos as well. We all know that editing can be very time consuming, and so can filming, especially when you're chatty like me. So it doesn't matter if you send 6 or 600, it's one entry. Now she has other ways that you can gain an entry, but I would ask that you go to her video to find out what each and every individual rule is. Let's see. They can be store-bought. They need to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because these kids are just getting like a small envelope that hangs on their door. And you know, when you were a kid and were in school, you know, Valentines would come around and you'd have the little party, and each child would put the little Valentine in each of the other children's bags. So that's basically the gist of this. So these kids can feel at least a little bit normal, even for a small amount of time. And they can smile because they get to write messages in these cards. Now that was something else. She doesn't want any handwritten messages in these cards. If you don't have a Valentine's Day stamp, like I don't have one that says "Be Mine," or I don't have one that says "Happy Valentine's Day," it's okay to write those, but don't write a message to the child. You see what I mean? Like on this one, I don't have a "Be Mine," so I wrote it, and that's okay. But just don't sit down and write out a full message. Also, if you stamp the backs of your cards like I do, handmade with love, don't put your address on there, because you don't know who may see those cards at some point. That we don't know that they're all honest people. You know, I'm sure the children are, but in every family, somewhere down the family line, there's somebody who's not. And unfortunately, that's all too true, you know. So don't put your address on there, and I wouldn't recommend anybody put their full name. I have a bad habit of writing my first and last name on there, so what I'm doing is just writing my YouTube channel name. That's what I'm writing on mine. To get her address. Now I have it because she and I have exchanged cards, and again I participated in this last year, and then we have sent things to each other throughout the year. So I have her address, but I will not give away her address, so please don't ask me for it. You will need to go to her channel, get her email address, and email her, and then her give you her address, because it's not a P.O. box. If it were a P.O. box, I might ask her if it was okay. But with it being a residential address, I'm not going to give away that information. I wouldn't want her to give away mine. I'm not going to give away hers. It's a respect thing. It's also a safety thing. So what I have done with some of my cards, I made a whole bunch of different ones. I didn't make any two the same. I can show you some of the ones that I made. Let me grab them real quick. Okay, a few more things to take into mind and consider that definitely needs to be you got to pay attention to. One, no smells. That includes smoke, that includes pets, that includes perfumes, dryer sheets. Sit down and make at least 10 in an hour, you know? Well, that's 10 children that'll get a card. So I look at it from that perspective, and it doesn't take long. If we spent, like if we did 10 an hour, in 3 hours time, if it was broken up over 3 days, an hour a day, then we've got 30 cards for 30 kids. And again, I think she's picked up 2 more hospitals this year. So watch her video on what all of the rules are, because she has them all listed. And then please do participate. And her channel again is Mel B's Paper Creations. And she makes some of the most beautiful mini albums. I can't even begin to tell you how gorgeous they are. Check out, you know, she does project shares more than she does walkthroughs or like teaching type videos, but she shows her projects and they are so incredibly gorgeous. If I could be 1/10 as talented as she is incredibly talented and so incredibly sweet to do this, because she doesn't have any children of her own. The only child she has 4 legs and says meow. So, you know, I mean, the fact that she doesn't have any children and she just wanted to do this out of the kindness of her heart, she's an incredibly sweet individual. I can't even begin to tell you how sweet and kind she is. Please do participate, and thanks for spending a little time with me. I hope you guys have a great day and a glorious tomorrow. Bye, guys.